And in that connection, I would request him to begin the discussion, though we have not decided about any structured discussion, but for the benefit of the gathering, I would request you to dwell on the contemporary Indian politics. And since your specialization is in far left, radical or revolutionary politics, please let us know about your experience, your journey from the days of India waits in 1980s to restore our India in 2012. So it's a long journey. Let us give the glimpse of your journey. Thank you.
Well, I mean, this is a very big request. It's a long time, and it's chunky. But I think one of the main things about India that we should remember is, of course, I mean, when I came to Kolkata yesterday, I saw the Hindu, and the banner was that the Supreme Court had spoken up against the fake encounters. Now, this is typical of the Indian situation, because you on the one hand have a state that works with fake, not only with fake encounters, but with fake encounters and in reality murders, and at the same time another branch of the state takes up this, condenses it. As you well know, in many countries where there is heavy oppression, I mean you have deep poverty and you have heavy oppression in India, the state will usually, you can take Chile during the dictatorship, you can take any other extreme, will not show both these tendencies. That is, of course, India. The fact is that you know India much better than I do, and I'm also a foreigner. I am not too, in any way, I've never tried to say that you should in India or in Vietnam or in China do this or do that. There is also a principle which I think many European and Western parties and NGOs and others, always, also on the left, always have transgressed, always can. And I remember very well, during the Cultural Revolution in China, my dear friend Rui Ali, whom some people then accused of being a fence sitter, but he told me, remember, it's their country. That's to say, one cannot come from outside, from abroad, and say, do this, do that. One should be very careful not to do that. But when it comes to India, the main thing is, of course, a tremendous poverty of a large section of the people, of the oppression, and also India is the only country in the world where I have ever eaten on gold plate. That was in Rajasthan, but anyway, it's never happened to me anywhere else. And the man, my host, was rich. He said that the difficulty with India are the many poor. Because you must remember that the poor are not productive, they only consume. That is the problem with India. And I would expect that many of the upper class would agree with him that in reality if you could abolish the poor, then India would be a much better place to live in. But what happened for me, I left India in 1962 for China in the spring. And in many ways, you know, that was the end of the Chinese, the 3 difficult years they called them at that time. But still, I thought I came to a rather rational society. And after that, I traveled around. Coming back to India this time, it was very simple. the telephone rang on New Year's Day in my home in Sweden, and they just wanted me they just said that you are expected in the Eastern Ghats, in 12 days' time. And in that case, you just had to go. And my experience there, of course, they are an efficient organization. They took me there, and it was a little bit difficult, of course, with my knees. I'm 85, to walk through the jungle, but I managed. But my great impression, I try to give an impression of that in this book, which is in two parts. It's my subjective comments, and it is their documents, what they call their documents. Now, my impression, and that I must say was my first impression, as I came out we came out of the jungle at night, and were given tea and welcome, and then a group of people came out of the jungle, and after some time I understood it was the General Secretary and the other leaders, and we had some preliminary discussions. And I must say, honestly, personally, that I found the tone very, very nice, very comradely, very good. If you compare it, which I just did, with the tone you were used to in the countries of the so-called real socialism of Europe, you would find that it was much harsher. This was quite normal comradely discussion. And my impression was of these leaders that they did honestly and comradely discuss the very vital questions and answered our questions. But I mean, it's difficult for me to give all these years in one go. I was impressed by them, and I have no idea what is going to happen. I have no crystal ball. I'm 80. I will be 85 now, which means that whatever happens, even whether they will be successful in the long run or anything, that longer run is after all much longer than my expected lifetime. So I will never see the result of it. But anyway, I mean, this was very much in general. I would like to have more specific questions, so I could say something rational.